Hey there, welcome back. I'm the Fnac, and in today's episode, we are going to be doing a mock draft for this upcoming draft class, featuring such names as Evan Mobley, Jalen Green, Jalen Suggs, and of course, Cade Cunningham. But before we get into that, please take a second to like and subscribe. Really does help out the channel, blah blah blah. We post twice a week, so it's a great place for consistent NBA content. Now, into the video. Now, the top three guys here are easy. Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, and Jalen Green are going to be the top three. The only problem is that they also depend on team need because it wouldn't make sense for if the Pistons to draft first take Cade Cunningham over Jalen Green because they desperately need a shooting guard. Here in our mock draft, we have the Cavs drafting first, and let's be honest, they need a point guard bad. They've drafted guards in so many of the past 7 drafts. It's kind of shameful at this point, but they can't really do much else because they just need to hit on someone. And, well, Cade Cunningham, he's a guaranteed hit. He might not be an MVP kind of player any time in the future if he's a complete bust, but he'll at least be something. And they need something. Colin Sexton was a good hit, mind you, and I'm not saying he wasn't, but Colin Sexton can't completely carry the Cavs. He needs help, especially at that point guard position. Then we have the Pistons drafting second, and as I previously stated, they need a shooting guard. They need it bad. They trust in Killian Hayes, who's looking like a very, very Chris Paul-esque kind of player right now. And if they get Jalen Green to be their true star on that roster and maybe have Sadiq Bey emerge as a solid all-star caliber player, considering he is coming off of one of the best three-point shooting rookie seasons in NBA history, and Isaiah Stewart looks like he's going to be a superstar. It's really just all coming into place right now for them. Then at number 3, we have the Houston Rockets. The only guy left out of who I mentioned earlier is Evan Mobley. Anyone else here would be a bit of a reach, and they don't really have anyone else that would fit with what they need because they do have KPJ at small forward and sometimes shooting guard. They have John Wall right now at point guard and Christian Wood at power forward, so they don't really have too many things that can go here, but I'd say that Evan Mobley is definitely their best option. He's a very intriguing prospect. He's like a more mobile kind of LaMarcus Aldridge. And of course, our two guys in the top 3 are definitely looking better with their ceilings, but Evan Mobley has the finesse of Hakeem, and he has the defensive ability of I don't even know how to describe what I see from him. His defensive IQ is off the charts. His block timing is amazing. I'd say perhaps a Dikembe Mutombo, but of course not that good. Again, though, he doesn't have the kind of ceiling the other two have because, of course, Jalen Green is pretty much Kobe. That's the best comparison for him. His outside shot is practically unguardable. There's very low chance of stopping it. And then, of course, Cade Cunningham is looking like Luka, except, of course, not quite that good, and he won't progress that rapidly, but he could easily reach that level at the peak of his career. Jalen Green, however, could easily be a very Luka kind of player where he comes into the league and then just starts showing his potential immediately, not just as what he could eventually be, but as what he can contribute in the moment. Now at the 4th pick, I'd love to put Jalen Suggs going at the 4th pick to the Thunder, but it just doesn't make sense. For what they're building, they don't want a guy like Jalen Suggs. Don't get me wrong, Jalen Suggs is a great player. And it's not that I believe this guy's better than him, I just feel that Scotty Barnes is better for the situation in OKC where they they don't really need a guy to come and be the offensive leader and a score first player like Jalen Suggs will be because well they have and let's be honest, that kind of wouldn't work out too well. But Scotty Barnes, a very, very good player. He's a 6'9" small forward with unparalleled passing and special defense. A very Draymond Green, Magic Johnson kind of player, where he doesn't have the best outside shot and he won't be a score first player, but he will be everything else for you. Now, here at number 5, I'm going to have to snub Jalen Suggs again and have the Golden State Warriors take Mr. Jonathan Kuminga. He just fits so perfectly for what they're trying to do. The only reason he's not higher on draft boards is because of his lack of an outside shot, and let's be honest. You tell me that the Golden State Warriors are going to need more perimeter shooting next season. They'll have Klay Thompson back and healthy. They'll have Steph Curry back and healthy for a full season this time. They'll have Draymond having a solid three-point shot, but not anything special. James Wiseman is kind of developing one, again, nothing special. Kuminga's athleticism is just off the charts. He'll be a very solid inside presence for the Warriors, which is something they need because, let's be honest, if you can't stop the outside of the game of the Warriors and you can't stop the inside game, what exactly are you left to try and stop? There's nothing. Of course, you could focus on the mid-range, but let's be honest, who takes mid-range shots anymore? You can't really do anything, and they'll just have an unstoppable offense, which will be very nice as they try to be a contender again next season. I wouldn't really count on it happening, considering that Klay will, of course, need time to get back and ready for NBA play because, well, it usually takes guys about a month or so for them to be back to what they were. And that's, of course, assuming that Klay can come back after 2 straight seasons of Achilles tears, which is just such a dreadful injury. Then at number 6, we have the Magic going full rebuild mode. Of course, they're taking Jalen Suggs here because he fell. I mean, let's be honest here. He can play both guard positions. He won't necessarily play shooting guard or point guard, particularly for the Magic, considering they do have some young point guards there, but they don't really have a shooting guard of the future, which, well, he could easily be for them. He has the competitive fire that we've seen in a lot of NBA greats, and he's proven that he can easily lead a team with his competitive spirit, which is, well, something teams will definitely like in the NBA, as he should be poised to be a solid scorer and playmaker, but he's a very... how could I describe him best? He's more of a Chauncey Billups or Brandon Roy kind of guy, where he doesn't really provide MVP numbers all throughout the season, but if you need a bucket and it's late in the game, he'll get you as many as you need. It doesn't matter if you're down by 1 or you're down by 20. As long as he's in the game, you have a chance. Here at number 7, I have the Toronto Raptors taking Davion Mitchell. The only reason he goes above guys like Keon Johnson and Moses Moody is because I feel he goes with the Toronto Raptors mindset. The only reason the Raptors were bad this season is, well, as guys in the locker room would attest to, they felt they had lost their edge. They felt they lost the roster's play style. The Raptors kind of culture that we had become accustomed to over the years, of them just being bulldogs, always going for the win. And to be honest, I feel that Davion Mitchell can provide that presence for them. I don't think he's better than guys like Keon Johnson and Moses Moody. But I know he's a competitor, I know he's a great defender, and I know he's a winner. He brings it all every game, and he has blazing open court speed. If I'm the Raptors, that's all I want if I'm going to kind of get rid of Kyle Lowry here in the next season or two. And I mean, I couldn't really think of a better replacement. If you're getting rid of Kyle Lowry, you might as well get another Kyle Lowry. He's a very Kemba-esque kind of player, too, in terms of his game. Which, I mean, that could fit very well with the Raptors' Fred VanVleet and Mr. Pascal Siakam, who really hasn't been worth the contract that he was given. Then, of course, we have at number 8 the Orlando Magic again with the pick from the Bulls. And, well, let's see here. The best thing they could probably do is draft Usman Garuba after already getting a guard here. I mean, they don't really have many things going on here. Usman is a rock solid defender, rebounder. He's got good offensive decision making. He's starting to hit the three ball, which could make him very, very solid. He's like a faster Tristan Thompson, if you will. Nothing too special about this pick. It's just one of those things that they need right now. At number 9, things get interesting. Personally, I feel the only option the Kings have is to take a guy like Moses Moody. He's a very Allen Houston kind of player. He's got good athleticism. He's pretty fast. He's a pro scorer on the wing who should be able to step in and knock down shots from day one. He's had a great season. I feel that the aspect here that's most special is the idea of getting spacing with De'Aaron Fox, which would be truly special, especially with De'Aaron Fox starting to develop a shot of his own, which will be very scary for the rest of the league. Then, of course, at number 10, we have Mr. Josh Giddey. And not too much to say here. He's like a taller Brent Berry. He's got a very unique combination of size and playmaking skills. He's a natural point who can also play off ball, and he's putting up big numbers as an 18-year-old in the NBL. Could definitely be the steal of this draft, considering how we tend to undervalue players from foreign leagues, especially due to our lack of information on them. After that, 11, I don't really know who you really want there. Personally, I'd want a guy like maybe Jared Butler. Now, personally, I wouldn't want to see Jared Butler land here because, well, I want to see Jared Butler get his own team. I want to see him be the guy because, well, again, he's one of those guys who could be the steal of the draft. He's a rock-solid combo guard who plays within the offense but can take over when needed. Very NBA ready. He won't be anything special like a George Hill kind of guy on a team like the Pelicans, but it's something. And something is better than nothing, especially in this situation. Jared Butler's lower on a lot of draft boards, which I don't really understand. He's been really good this season. He's shown good playmaking. He's a lot like his brother, to be honest. Then number 11, we have the Pacers, who really shouldn't be this high in the draft, but you know how injuries are. I'd say their best option, again, trying to get maybe like a guard. I'd say maybe like Jaden Springer. He's a polished player, very polished for a freshman at least. He's a knack for scoring the ball and he loves the big moments. I just feel he's the best guard really available at this point. You can maybe run him and Karis LeVert together, which would be an interesting offensive plan. Maybe run it through Sabonis as a playmaking big man, kind of like a Jokic type. It'd be a very interesting offense to watch. Then we have the Wizards. They really just, I feel they should go and try to get a guy like Franz Wagner at small forward. He's a smooth forward who can space the floor, pass the rock, guard multiple positions. He's got a great feel for the game, and he's just highly efficient with his touches. He won't be anything special, but we're getting to that point in the draft where you're going to have to get lucky if you want something special. Then at 13, we have the Spurs drafting, I'd say maybe like Jalen Johnson would be the option. Johnson left the Duke program to focus on getting healthy and training for the draft. He's a special talent, but there's definitely some orange flags starting to pop up. He's a very Tobias Harris kind of guy. Now here at the final pick in the lottery, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. They really just need someone to go along with Ja in the backcourt. Then again, Grayson Allen's been doing very nicely. He's young, so I'm not sure I'd give up on that yet. So after that, you have some very interesting questions. I'd say their best option is probably to draft a small forward, if we're being honest. Maybe Corey Crispert from Gonzaga. He's arguably the most deadly three-point shooter in the draft. He's an older player, but he's got a solid frame and he's got NBA ready game. He just doesn't have that high upside that you'd really want from a guy here. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.